What's up, everyone? Welcome to Old Boy Red Report. Today we are going to be breaking down this weekend's Week 2 of the USL Sacramento Republic FC at Colorado Switchbacks FC. We'll do that right after this. Fort Rock Brewing once again. A little bit different location inside the brewery that we are used to.
Same delicious beer.
What are you drinking over there?
Damn good Pilsner. Got to stick with the classics down here.
I'm drinking that damn good H2O, of course.
Don't get too tipsy on that.
Yeah.
Got to drive later.
It's always good to stay hydrated. So anyways, let's recap last week.
Sure.
You had your thoughts.
I had lots of them, yeah.
You know, I thought it was a solid showing from our team. Obviously not the result that we were looking for. Coming out of the game with a draw, though, not the worst result, right?
No, I mean, it was disappointing. Like I said, it was a mixed bag of feelings. It's a game that you thought we should have won, probably. We were on the front foot most of the time. We had a very good attack-minded team going out there. Salt Lake City really didn't have much going forward. They had the penalty, that was it. So it'll be disappointing to drop the 2 points, but it's the start of the season. We'll roll on.
Yeah, and my thoughts, seeing the penalty, you know, we saw it live. I thought it was a really soft call live. Going back and seeing the actual highlight, the USL highlight, did not change my opinion. It was definitely a soft penalty.
It
Absolutely.
was.
I don't know if Skundress even touched him, to be honest with you, but if he did, it was one of those times where the attacking player had the savvy to kind of look for the foul. He may have got touched, but the action kind of showed the referee that there was something there. And you got to give credit to the player. He got the penalty. He stepped up and he scored. So we're all disappointed a little bit. But again, I was more, like I said in the post game at the stadium, I was happy about the showing that our team had. I thought we showed a little bit more bite in the attack than we had.
Definitely.
Maybe in most games last year and maybe the year prior. Hard to take too much from the first game, though, right?
Yeah, and even doing the pre-match for Colorado Springs is, you know, there's not a lot to go off, especially when teams change players so much. Colorado Springs did have a pretty good first game, so that's going to be something interesting to talk about. But we'll take away from our game what it was. It's a point. It's a tough team. It's one of the tougher teams we're going to play this season. I think it's a decent result for us.
Absolutely. And, you know, we will jump into the next game. My man of the match, though, I just wanted to kind of give a shout-out to new coming player Sam Warner.
Yeah.
Really hard to get man of the match and only play like 15 minutes. But I thought the team was lacking something, and then when he came on, I felt after a couple minutes of him touching the ball, creating some chances, I'm like, okay, I think we have something here. We're going to score a goal maybe from an opportunity created by him, and we did. And I got to give him credit because he created probably more chances than any player on the field in the game, and he was on for really, really limited minutes.
Yeah, when he came on, he did change the tone of the game, especially going up that right side. He was just a spark plug, getting the ball up, taking players on, making great passes. Like I said, I think overall there was a little disconnect from our front line. They didn't do the movement that I thought they would. There was a few things missing that didn't get that second goal for us. But the keeper for Salt Lake City also did great. He had some great saves, so you give him credit. But
Absolutely.
Let's go into the pregame.
Cool. Yeah, so this Saturday, this Saturday, the Republic will start their 2019 road season, I guess you could say, their first road match. They'll be playing Colorado, who sit at the top of the Western Conference at this point.
They are number 1 seeded.
Yeah,
Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
You know, you don't take much from the early season standings at this point, but hey, for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in about 3 years,
yeah, I mean,
they're probably feeling pretty good about their first match.
Yeah, with the 12th finish last year, a 9th finish before that, missing the playoffs the last few years. Hey, sitting on top of the league at the first game, that'll be a high moment maybe, so take that right now.
Yeah, you mentioned 2 years ago they finished 9th, and Republic finished 8th. I know that we were battling with them at the end of the year.
Yep.
Ultimately, we made the playoffs, and they did not. So, I think this is a team, even though they won 4-1, they played Galaxy 2. Galaxy 2 might be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. If I had to guess, they're probably going to finish in the bottom 2 or 3.
I'm with you. I would not doubt to see them bottom 5 minimum.
They're already dead last.
Their defense looked in shambles against Colorado. They didn't seem to have any answers for some of the easiest plays through. Not to take anything away from the Switchbacks' performance. Great performance from those guys. But, yeah, LA2's back line just looked very weak.
Yeah, looking at the game, I mean, like you said, they scored 4 goals. I'm not saying that they weren't nice goals, but I saw a lot of space between defenders and attackers. And Shane Malcolm, he scored 3 goals in the game. He had a great game. Give him credit. He put away his chances.
He got the hat trick.
All 3 of them, I mean, he's sitting by himself in dangerous positions. He's super quick. He's definitely a player that the Republic will need to keep an eye on all the time. He can hit you on the counter. But I don't think that we're going to see a defensive performance like Galaxy gave to the Switchbacks.
No, and I doubt Republic will come anywhere near such a bad defensive performance. But it is noted that Malcolm did hit him on the wings. I think Jones was on the other side too, right? Malcolm was on the right. I think Jones was on the left for Switchbacks. And it was a good combination, them playing up those sides. The other goal comes from Burnt, I think his name was, Bert.
Yes.
And it was a cross-in from Jones up the left side to get the heading goal in, which is an open header. I mean, again, but it was a good cross, and we're going to have to watch out for them playing up both the wings like that. They have some guys out on the wings with some pace.
Yeah, they were set up in like a 4-3-3. It looked like maybe a 4-2-3-1, but regardless, single striker high, 2 wingers, and I mean that's a common formation.
Yeah.
Nothing that the guys can't stop or haven't seen before. Malcolm again with the 3 goals. He's not really the biggest goal-scoring threat, but he is really good at sending in crosses. He also had a couple of other really good crosses in that game. So Shannon Gomez, I believe, will probably be starting at left back.
Yeah, and he'll have his hands full.
Fortunately for us, I feel like that's a good matchup for Gomez.
Yeah.
Because Gomez is probably our most nimble defender, and Malcolm is our most nimble forward. And Malcolm is not very big like Shannon Gomez.
Well, and they're both pacey. Shannon Gomez will be able to keep up with them step for step. He's shown to be able to track back even when Gomez gets in the attack. So those abilities are going to really be something that he's going to need to pull out and going to need to shine at in this defense against the Switchbacks.
Absolutely. Other than that, when you look at the game between Switchbacks and Galaxy, they didn't really dominate possession. They definitely created, I think, better chances than Galaxy, but the stats will tell you that it wasn't such a one-sided game.
No.
And you know what? I think that gives us, I think that gives me personally a little bit of confidence that maybe we'll be able to create more dangerous opportunities than we were against a team like Monarchs, who we talk about. Man, they are just so organized defensively. They don't really give you sights at goal.
Well, and against the Switchbacks, we didn't get to really see too much of that defense. I didn't see the whole game. I just saw the highlights. So maybe I'm not the best to talk about it, but we didn't really have to see too much of their defense because LA didn't have much of an attack except for that one cracker goal that put them on the board.
Yeah.
I don't think they had too much going forward. So we'll have to see how the Republic's front line does against their back line.
It will be interesting. I expect, though, that we'll probably score more than 1 goal this game. I think we're looking at having a little bit more pressure on their goalkeeper than maybe Cohen will have. I know it's a road game. It's early in the season, but I am confident going into this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a team that is going to finish mid-table somewhere. I don't think they're going to be a great team. They had problems scoring last season. I think I had it here somewhere that they scored only like 30 goals or something last season.
Goal differential by a lot.
Yeah, so I mean they weren't the most scoring prolific team last season. I don't see them putting up too much. I think the 4-1 against LA is going to be a fluke. Although in preseason they did beat Reno 4-1 as well, but that's preseason, so take that for what it is.
Yeah, so what about lineup? Do you think that we'll stick with the same 11? Or do you think maybe a player didn't stand out so much, a player or two? Will we see rotation early on in the season?
I don't think we'll see rotation. I think we'll see the same starting 11. It was a good, strong starting 11. It was a game we dominated. I see no reason to change it. Now, there were a couple guys that I've talked about it. I don't think Blacker was completely up to where he could be. I don't think Iwasa was completely up to where he could be, but they're not going to get subbed out. I think they're solid enough players that they're going to keep their spots. The only guy that maybe made an argument for himself is, like you said before, Sam Warner. I can see him slotting in there somewhere and taking someone's spot.
Yeah, it's so early in the season to kind of talk about like maybe we should change a lineup, but what do you think about the idea of a lineup? Maybe we'll see it this week, maybe we'll see it down the road. Maybe Warner starts on the right-hand side, and Bijev actually gets moved to like that central attacking midfielder role, and then Iwasa goes back to a striker in a 4-2-3-1. Maybe we'll see that. I don't know if that's something that Elliott has on maybe the platter for this season at some point, but a guy like Bijev, he's a creative player, but he might not be the most pacey winger. Yeah. And we saw Warner really take it to the Real Monarchs defense, a very tough defensive team.
Absolutely, and that's where I think maybe he earned himself a spot. And yeah, maybe he slides in there with where Bijev is. Give Bonomo a rest. It's even a different attacking idea. It's Bonomo's got a little bit better of that hold-up play that Iwasa maybe doesn't have. Iwasa's a little bit better at towing the line. So maybe, Elliott makes the decision per game of what he thinks the back line's going to be of the defensive team we're going to play against and changes that up. But I can see that.
Maybe I could see Tainer maybe getting a start too because, Declan Kynan, I thought he played very well, but he's an older player. And you don't want to, run out his legs early in the season. I'm not saying that he needs a rest already, but I think those three center backs, Harris, Kynan, and Tainer, I think we're going to see a lot more rotation this year than in years past from that position.
Yeah, absolutely. And I talked about it a little bit in my post-match game video. Having such good quality center backs is something we lacked last season. Even though our defense was good, I'm not saying we had a bad defensive season last season. We just didn't have the depth. This season, we can go to a back three because we do have three strong center backs. If we're up 3-1 in the game, we can go to a back five and hold that game out and just get the result. So having that strength in the back line is not a bad thing. And I think Tainer switching in, giving the guys some rest as well later on in rotation, especially if we get into the Open Cup a little bit farther, it's going to be great.
It's a good problem to have.
It's not a bad problem to have, definitely.
Yeah, it's always good where we really have three starting caliber center backs, and there might be disappointment at some point in the season, or maybe somebody doesn't feel like they're getting the minutes that they're used to or think that they deserve. But hey, you know what? Kynan is an older player. I don't think he's going to play 90 week in and week out every single time. Don't want to keep him fresh. So we'll see some rotation there. Other than that, midfielders, I didn't think that Skundrich had the best game, if I'm being honest, and he was the player that I was pretty excited about.
Yeah.
I thought he was just lacking a little bit for me. Like, I didn't see him very active in creating turnovers, which I thought I was going to see a little bit more. Maybe it's the first game. You're settling in with new teammates. He's with a new club, so sometimes it takes a few games to get in it.
Well, and he played a little advance of Sarri, so he was playing more of that connecting midfield player where he was trying to bring the ball out from the back and get it to our front three, get it to that interchanging diamond that we had up front. And he kind of played that back part in that diamond, so I think maybe we didn't see as good of the defensive end of him because he was focused more on trying to transition that ball, especially with us playing as much on the front foot as we did. It wasn't really, I think, his best defensive shining moment. But going forward, he looked decent. I think he had a good game. I could see him maybe getting dropped out, though. I did say Partain myself in the starting 11 last time, and I could definitely see Partain sliding right in there.
He would be the natural replacement, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I would just like to see, I thought Sarri was very good at ball distribution. I would like to see Iwasa or Skundrich, if he is playing that number 8, be a little bit on the ball and have some cutting passes. We need to see maybe some passes through
like a little bit more creativity, I guess, from the central part of the park, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I hope for this game against Switchbacks we can do that. They're going to try to play us up the wings like I talked about with the width. And so if we can create those chances by pressing high and stopping the balls from going out wide and stopping those and blocking those passes and getting a one-time back up to like an Iwasa or a Bonomo, that'll be a key in this next game.
Yeah. What do you think about the elevation? Do you think with it being an early season game, that the elevation, maybe the stamina of the players not being accustomed to that might be a hindrance? Or do you think, well, it's early on in the season, we got fresh legs, we might be able to handle it better now than we would in August?
I don't know, like, I'm all about these guys are professional athletes and they're supposed to be in the best shape of their lives.
But they are playing at elevation.
Absolutely,
right?
and they should be able to handle this, especially this early in the season. That shouldn't be too much of a hindrance for most of them. I think we'll go there, we'll have the same great performance. Now, maybe a little later in the season when you're a bit lagged, you're a bit winded, you've had a few games in a row.
Injuries are carrying,
yeah,
stuff like that.
You played a Wednesday, you played a Sunday, now you're back on the game on Tuesday. Those kind of get to you, so I can see that. But this is early, shouldn't be a problem.
Cool, man. So I guess it's time to make our prediction, or what?
Yeah, go for it. Let's get it.
Oh, you go first, dude.
Okay, I went with the I went with the 2-0 last time.
Yeah, so
didn't quite work out for me, but
we both were wrong.
I don't see a lot of goals in the Switchbacks. I think they're still lacking up front. I think Malcolm had a good game, but I don't think he's going to be as prolific as the first game would tell you he's going to be. So I'm going to go 2-0 again for us. I think we can go there, get the result, come back with 3 points.
Man, I was going to say the same thing, man. 2-0. All right, well, I got to be different. We're not going
Forcing the change.
We are going to win, though. I am confident in that result. You win 2-1.
2-1.
John, what do you got? John Glatz has 2-1 as well.
He's copying Mark with 2-1.
Yeah, well, at least John has an answer this time. Like on my glass, I'm asking who the starting 11 would be.
He's not even on this one, and he comes prepared. Jeez.
We're just totally hating on him right now. This is great.
All right.
So we want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your thoughts, not just on the last game. If you do want to comment on a player or something like that from last game, just to tie up week 1 of the USL for the Republic, go ahead and do that. But of course, give us your prediction for this Saturday. Watch parties. I know
Costanza's is the TVB one. I think
I like that place a lot. I'm probably going there. That place is awesome.
The Republic is doing the SAC Union Brewery, I think it is, or something like that.
Sacktown Union.
I'll have to double check that.
Double check it.
There'll be a link in the description down there to it. So if you want to check out what that is, go down there.
If you'd like to get together for a watch party this week, maybe we can coordinate something. I think it's an early start time.
I think it's 5. Yeah.
Pacific Standard Time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So give us your thoughts, your predictions. Is there a player that you want to see in the starting 11 that is different from last week? Let us know.
Of course, like always, check us out on Facebook at Old Glory Red Report, Instagram and Twitter is at the Old Glory Red. You can also go on our Reddit, talk to us over there. It's Old Glory Red as well.
Subscribe, share, like, ring the bell. You know about it.
Yeah, we do have a podcast that comes out every other week. It's called The State of the Republic. That's going to be on Spotify. That's going to be on the Apple Store, the Play Store, all kinds of other places. So check that out as well. That's with the beautiful Game Network. Yeah, bgn.fm.
All right, I think that's it, man. So I guess from Fort Rock Brewing, Old Glory Red Report. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.